Have you ever wondered why the more awakened you become, the harder it feels to connect with someone on a soul level? You crave love that feels pure, real, and alive. But somehow, the deeper you grow, the lonelier you feel. It's like your heart speaks a language the world no longer understands. And that silence between you and others, it starts to echo louder than any words ever could. You're not broken. You're not too much. You've simply awakened in a world that still sleeps. Most people chase love to fill a void, but you've seen the truth. You've realized love isn't meant to complete you. It's meant to reflect the wholeness already within you. And once you taste that awareness, surface-level connections can no longer satisfy your soul. The thrill of attention fades, the excitement of attraction loses meaning. Because your heart no longer craves temporary highs, it craves truth. You try to connect, but the energy feels off. You listen deeply, but you feel unseen. You give purely, but it's misunderstood. You can't pretend anymore. You can't shrink your soul just to fit into someone's comfort zone. Every part of you that once accepted shallow love now rebels against it. You'd rather be alone than fake another smile in a hollow connection. That's not arrogance. That's evolution. It's the sign of someone who's no longer seeking company, but alignment. And yet, that path can feel unbearably lonely. You look around, and it seems like everyone else is finding someone while you keep walking alone. You start to question your worth. You wonder if maybe you're too intense, too spiritual, too awake. But that loneliness you feel isn't a punishment. It's purification. The universe is removing the noise so you can hear your own frequency again. It's stripping away illusion so that when love does come, it won't be built on fear, need, or fantasy. It'll be born from truth. What you're going through right now is sacred. You're not being left behind, you're being prepared. The love you seek can't meet you until you've become the version of yourself that can hold it. And that's what your solitude is doing. It's teaching you to stop chasing reflections and start becoming the light itself. Because when you become the light, you stop searching for someone to complete you. You start attracting those who are already complete. That's why awakened souls struggle to find love. Not because love has abandoned them, but because they've outgrown the kind that isn't real. They can no longer connect with masks, with half-truths, with the kind of affection that disappears when tested. Their soul demands more: presence, depth, authenticity, surrender. And until they find that, they walk alone. But here's the truth that will keep you going. This loneliness won't last. Every moment you spend growing, healing, and understanding yourself is bringing you closer to the kind of love you were born to experience. A love that sees you, a love that understands you, a love that doesn't require you to hide your light to be accepted. Stay patient, stay grounded, stay real, because the universe doesn't give awakened souls average love. It gives them divine connection. And to receive that, you must first walk through the sacred fire of becoming whole. Love is not supposed to make you lose yourself. It's meant to awaken you even deeper. But once your soul has awakened, love no longer feels like it used to. It stops being a game of attraction and becomes a mirror of growth. Every relationship, every connection, every heartbreak turns into a lesson in consciousness. You no longer ask, why did they leave? You ask, what did this reveal in me? Because awakened souls understand that love is not just an emotion. It's a spiritual mirror, reflecting your deepest truth back to you. That's why love feels more intense after awakening. It's no longer a fantasy, it's a purification. When you open your heart with awareness, you invite truth, not illusion, and truth exposes everything. Your insecurities, your fears, your need for validation. It shows you the places where love still has to heal you. That's why awakened love can feel heavier. It shakes you, it stretches you, it refines you, it forces you to see what you once ran from. But through that pain, you evolve. Through that discomfort, rise. You begin to understand that love isn't supposed to complete you. It's supposed to challenge you to meet your highest self. The people who enter your life after awakening are not here to comfort you. They are here to test your alignment. They appear to reveal how much you've truly healed, how deeply you've forgiven, how unshakable your peace has become. And when the connection ends, you no longer break, you transform. Because the awakened soul no longer measures love by its duration, but by its depth. You stop confusing attachment with affection. You no longer chase attention as proof of worth. You realize that true love cannot exist where fear still controls the heart. You start to crave something rarer, connection rooted in truth, not dependency. And that desire alone changes your entire vibration. You no longer resonate with drama or inconsistency. Your energy becomes clear, grounded, and magnetic. You begin to attract experiences that reflect your inner peace instead of your inner wounds. This is where many awakened souls feel torn. They want love deeply, yet their energy no longer aligns with the kind of love they once knew. They meet people, but the spark fades quickly. The emotional games feel empty. The small talk feels meaningless. You crave soul-to-soul connection, not mind-to-mind performance. You crave someone who understands your silence, who meets your energy without needing to be taught how. But few are ready for that level of intimacy, because it requires them to face themselves, too. Still, you can't go backward. Once you've seen what real love is meant to feel like, free, conscious, and rooted in truth, you can't unsee it. You can't settle for fragments once you've touched the whole, so you walk forward with courage, even if your path feels empty. Because somewhere ahead, there's a soul walking the same road, searching for the same vibration, doing the same inner work, and when the time is right, that meeting will not be chaotic. It will be clear. It will be calm. It will be love without confusion. So let your heart stay open, but let your awareness guide it. Don't close yourself off to love. Just stop mistaking pain for passion. Every connection that ends is preparing you for the one that won't. Every goodbye is making space for the love that doesn't need to be chased, explained, or fixed. The love you seek is already seeking you, but it can only recognize you when you have become everything you've been searching for. Everything in existence vibrates. Every thought, every emotion, every soul radiates a certain frequency. When you awaken, your vibration shifts. You no longer operate from fear, scarcity, or ego. You move from truth, peace, and awareness. That shift is powerful, but it also creates distance. You start to notice that the people you once connected with now feel foreign. The conversations that once excited you now feel empty. The energy that once surrounded you begins to fall silent. It's not rejection, it's resonance. Your soul is simply outgrowing frequencies that no longer match your evolution. Love becomes one of the first places where this shift becomes undeniable. The kind of relationships that once pulled you in, chaotic, inconsistent, dramatic, now feel heavy, unnatural. You no longer crave intensity, you crave harmony. You no longer want the thrill of emotional highs and lows, you want peace that feels like home. But that peace exists on a different vibration, and that means many people will no longer align with you. You'll meet them, feel their energy, and something deep inside will whisper, "This isn't it." That's not judgment, it's energetic awareness. As your frequency rises, your emotional sensitivity increases. You start feeling truth beyond words. You can sense when someone's energy is authentic and when it's forced. You can feel when love is pure and when it's need disguised as affection. That awareness makes it almost impossible to stay where your energy isn't respected. You become allergic to manipulation, to inconsistency, to anything that feels artificial. You start protecting your peace more fiercely than ever before. Because now you understand, peace is your new love language. And yet that clarity comes with isolation. You begin to see that not everyone wants to meet at the level of depth you crave. Many are still addicted to emotional chaos, to temporary excitement, to ego-based validation. But you can't go back to that frequency without betraying yourself. That's the paradox of awakening. You become free, but freedom often feels lonely at first. You're no longer chasing the noise of connection, you're waiting for the stillness of alignment. The space between those two is where most awakened souls feel lost. But that space is sacred. It's where your energy recalibrates. It's where you learn to stop forcing and start allowing. When you stop lowering your vibration to meet others, something miraculous happens. You begin to attract people who rise to meet yours. Love no longer feels like searching, it starts to feel like magnetism. The right people feel lighter, clearer, calmer. They don't drain you, they balance you. They don't challenge your peace, they expand it. So if your path feels quiet right now, don't mistake it for emptiness. That silence is the sound of your frequency aligning with truth. The old connections are fading because your energy is no longer a match for pain. You're being tuned for coherence, the kind of connection that doesn't need constant effort to survive. Real love doesn't require you to lower your vibration to be understood. It meets you where your energy naturally resides. You are not hard to love, you're just operating at a vibration where only real love can find you. And when it does, it won't confuse you. It won't exhaust you. It will feel calm, steady, and aligned, because that's what happens when two awakened souls meet. The frequency gap disappears, and love finally feels like truth. When you awaken, you stop falling in love with potential and start seeing people exactly as they are. You can no longer project your desires onto someone and call it connection. Awareness removes the veil. You notice patterns others ignore. You sense energy behind words, intention behind actions, and truth beneath appearances. That clarity changes everything. It makes you more compassionate, but it also makes you less willing to tolerate illusion. Because once your eyes open, pretending becomes impossible. You start realizing how much of modern love is built on fantasy. Most people aren't in love with the person in front of them. They're in love with who they imagine that person could become. They don't fall for truth. They fall for possibility. But awakened souls can't play that game. You see through the layers, the masks, the unconscious patterns people hide behind. You recognize fear disguised as confidence. You feel the insecurity hidden behind control. You hear the silent cry for validation buried beneath charm. You see it all, and that makes connection rare, because awareness demands authenticity. It's not that you expect perfection, you simply crave honesty. You want someone who's done their own inner work, who's not afraid to confront their shadows, who understands that love is not about possession, but partnership in growth. You want someone who values depth over distraction, truth over comfort, evolution over approval. But that kind of connection cannot be forced. It requires both souls to be equally awake, equally willing to meet in truth. And until that alignment happens, you'll often find yourself walking alone, not because you are unlovable, but because you refuse to abandon yourself for the illusion of being loved. This is where discernment replaces desperation. You stop chasing chemistry that drains you. You stop confusing passion with alignment. You stop explaining your value to people who only see surfaces. Instead, you choose stillness. You wait for resonance. You learn to recognize peace as the real spark. That shift transforms how you love. It turns romance into reverence. You start to understand that real compatibility isn't about shared tastes or temporary attraction. It's about shared awareness. It's when two people meet with their hearts open, egos silent, and energies clear. That level of connection doesn't come from wishing, it comes from becoming. The more aligned you are within yourself, the clearer your vibration becomes to those who can truly meet it. You no longer have to chase, persuade, or perform. You simply exist as truth, and truth attracts truth. This is the kind of love awakened souls are destined for, one that feels calm, grounded, and expansive. A love that doesn't take you away from yourself, but brings you closer to it. Until that day comes, solitude becomes your sanctuary. It's not a waiting room, it's a sacred temple where you prepare your energy for the kind of love your soul has always known it deserves. You cleanse the residue of past attachments. You release the illusion that love must be earned. You build a foundation so strong within that no external storm can shake it, because when two whole beings finally meet, love is no longer a search for completion. It becomes a celebration of two souls who have already found themselves. Every connection you've ever experienced has been a mirror, reflecting back the energy you hold within. Before awakening, those mirrors revealed your wounds. They showed you the parts of yourself that were still afraid, still seeking, still unhealed. You attracted people who matched your insecurities because your energy was still learning what it means to love without fear. But once you awaken, the mirror changes. You start attracting reflections that match your vibration, not your pain. The lessons become more refined, more precise, and more sacred. Every person who enters your life shows you something about your own evolution. This is why awakened love can feel so intense. You meet someone, and instantly you sense their energy. It feels familiar, magnetic, powerful. But that connection isn't always meant to last. It's meant to teach. The universe sends these mirrors not to complete you, but to polish you. Every interaction becomes a divine test of alignment. Are you still operating from old wounds, or are you standing in your truth? Are you giving from fear or from fullness? Are you chasing connection or allowing it to unfold naturally? The mirror never lies, and love becomes the clearest reflection of all. The awakened soul learns that endings aren't failures, they're revelations. When someone leaves, it doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means the lesson was complete. It means that vibration no longer matches who you've become. That shift is painful, but it's sacred, because every heartbreak burns away illusion. It clears the energy field. It purifies the heart, so that when real love arrives, it finds space to stay. This is the hidden purpose behind every goodbye you didn't understand. The universe isn't taking from you. It's preparing you. It's showing you how to love without attachment, how to give without losing yourself, how to stand in your worth without needing to prove it. You begin to understand that the goal isn't to find love, but to become love. When your energy radiates wholeness, you stop attracting broken reflections. You stop begging for attention because your presence itself becomes magnetic. You stop trying to convince people to choose you because you finally choose yourself. That's the shift from attachment to alignment. That's when the mirror test becomes your greatest teacher, not through suffering, but through self-mastery. When you reach that level, your relationships evolve from survival to expansion. You no longer connect to fill a void. You connect to create growth. You no longer enter relationships to escape yourself. You enter them to amplify your peace. Love becomes sacred again, something you protect, nurture, and honor, because you understand its power now. You understand that the energy you allow into your life either expands or depletes your vibration, so you choose carefully. You love intentionally, you let go gracefully. And when love finally mirrors your healed energy, it feels different. It's calm, it's clean, it's effortless. There are no games, no confusion, no power struggles, just presence, just truth. That's what happens when you stop chasing mirrors and start becoming the reflection you've always sought. Love stops being a search and becomes a state of being. You realize that the greatest relationship you'll ever have is the one between your soul and your higher self. Every other love becomes an extension of that divine connection, pure, conscious, and eternal. Solitude is not emptiness. It is the sacred ground where you rediscover your essence. When the noise fades and the world's distractions dissolve, what remains is you, your truth, your energy, your unfiltered being. For many, silence feels uncomfortable because it exposes everything they've been avoiding. But for the awakened soul, silence becomes medicine. It reveals who you are without titles, without attachments, without validation. It strips away the layers of identity until only awareness remains, and in that awareness you begin to feel whole again. Solitude teaches you that love was never meant to be something you chase. It was always something you carry within. When you stop running from yourself, you start to experience peace that doesn't depend on another person's presence. You start realizing that your energy, when aligned, is enough. You are the calm you were searching for. You are the safety you long to find in someone else. This realization shifts everything. It transforms loneliness into liberation. You no longer sit in silence waiting for someone to fill it. You sit in silence and feel it expand with your own light. That's when solitude becomes sacred. It becomes your sanctuary, not your punishment. It's where you learn emotional sovereignty, the ability to remain whole no matter who comes or goes. You stop needing constant reassurance because you trust your own presence. You stop seeking love as a remedy because you've learned to heal yourself through awareness. This is not isolation. This is integration. It's the merging of your mind, heart, and spirit into unity. The more comfortable you become in your own energy, the less you tolerate anything that disturbs it. This space of stillness also rewires how you perceive connection. You begin to see that real love doesn't arrive when you're desperate for it. It appears when you're already complete. The universe doesn't respond to longing, it responds to frequency. The more peaceful and aligned you become, the more you magnetize relationships that reflect that energy. You attract not from need, but from overflow. Love starts flowing naturally because you're no longer resisting yourself. You've become a clear channel for truth, and that truth draws in only what matches it. But solitude is not passive, it's an active journey of remembering. It demands courage to sit with your emotions, to face your shadows, to embrace your vulnerability. It asks you to release the illusion that someone else will rescue you from your own depths, because no one can complete what was never missing. When you truly understand this, your energy becomes untouchable. You move through the world with quiet confidence. You stop begging for love, and love starts seeking you. The awakened soul doesn't reject love. It simply refuses to trade authenticity for company. You no longer need to be seen to feel valuable, nor understood to feel valid. You honor your path, knowing that solitude is not a delay, it's divine preparation. Every quiet night, every moment of stillness, every tear that falls alone is shaping your energy into something rare, something strong, something ready. When love finally arrives, it won't disturb your peace, it will deepen it, because solitude will have already taught you the one lesson every awakened soul must learn. You were never waiting for love to find you. You were waiting to remember that you are love itself. When love finally meets the awakened soul, it doesn't arrive with fireworks or chaos. It enters quietly, like peace returning home. There's no rush to define it, no urge to control it, no fear of losing it. It doesn't demand attention. It radiates understanding. You recognize it instantly, not because it excites you, but because it feels familiar. It feels safe. It feels like truth. After all the noise, all the lessons, all the endings that tore you open, this love comes as calm. It doesn't spark anxiety. It soothes it. It doesn't fill a void. It mirrors your wholeness. This love doesn't ask you to shrink. It celebrates your growth. It doesn't compete with your purpose. It walks beside it. You no longer feel the need to explain your depth, because this person can meet you there. They see through your silence. They understand your energy. They honor your stillness. Their presence doesn't consume you. It amplifies you. You rise together not because you need each other, but because you choose each other from a place of abundance, not absence. That is the difference between ordinary love and awakened love. One seeks to possess, the other seeks to elevate. All the solitude, all the heartbreak, all the lessons, they were never about losing love. They were about preparing your energy to hold it. Every person who couldn't stay was teaching you how to stop clinging. Every rejection was teaching you how to trust timing. Every delay was teaching you how to build the inner peace that would one day sustain a love without chaos. You were never being punished. You were being refined. Because divine love can't enter a space still filled with fear, it needs clarity, it needs surrender, it needs you whole. When love finally aligns with your vibration, it feels effortless. There's no battle of egos, no guessing, no confusion. The connection flows naturally, like two rivers merging into one current. You both understand that love isn't about ownership, it's about resonance. You don't try to fix or change each other, you simply grow in each other's light. You communicate not to defend, but to connect. You listen not to reply, but to understand. This kind of love doesn't come to complete your story, it comes to expand it. The awakened soul knows that real love isn't dramatic. It's divine. It's not something you fall into, it's something you rise with. It doesn't drain your energy. It nourishes it. And once you experience it, you finally understand why everything had to happen the way it did. The silence, the waiting, the pain. It all had purpose. You needed to lose the versions of yourself that accepted less. You needed to heal the wounds that made you chase what wasn't real. You needed to remember what love truly is. Freedom in connection, peace in union, truth in vulnerability. So if love hasn't found you yet, hold your heart steady. Don't close it out of fear. Don't chase it out of impatience. Let your energy continue to refine. Let your awareness deepen. The universe hasn't forgotten you. It's aligning you. The love meant for you is not late. It's sacred. It's walking toward you with the same intention, the same longing, the same readiness. And when it arrives, you'll realize it was never about searching, it was about remembering. Because love doesn't appear when you need it most. It appears when you finally become what you were seeking all along. And when that kind of love finally finds you, something inside you changes forever. You stop craving validation because you no longer need someone to tell you that you are worthy. You feel it in every breath. You stop fearing abandonment because you finally understand that love built on presence cannot vanish. It simply exists, flowing in alignment with truth. You stop performing for affection because authenticity has become your language. Love, in its awakened form, doesn't demand perfection. It thrives on truth. It doesn't require constant reassurance. It moves through trust. It doesn't cling. It allows. This is where real intimacy begins, not in the exchange of words, but in the meeting of energies. You begin to see how connection isn't built through constant contact, but through mutual peace. When both souls are grounded in their wholeness, they create space for something greater than themselves. The bond becomes sacred, not because it's dramatic, but because it's real. You no longer chase highs. You crave harmony. You no longer seek to be understood. You desire to be met in stillness. That's when love feels like home, not a battlefield. But not everyone is ready for this kind of love, and that's okay. The awakened soul learns that alignment cannot be forced. You can't make someone evolve faster. You can't drag a heart into healing. True love requires readiness on both sides. It's not about finding someone who fits your fantasy. It's about meeting someone whose energy complements your peace. The universe protects this type of love until both are prepared to hold it. That's why timing is sacred. That's why patience is power. Because the same universe that taught you through loss will bless you through alignment. And while you wait, the work continues. You keep choosing peace over pressure. You keep choosing growth over comfort. You keep choosing faith over fear. You learn to sit with solitude not as emptiness, but as sacred preparation. You begin to see that every moment spent alone is not wasted. It's wiring your heart for divine love. The longer you stay grounded in truth, the more your energy sharpens. You become magnetic to authenticity. You stop attracting lessons and start attracting mirrors. The kind of people who don't drain your spirit but reflect your light. That's when you realize love isn't something you find, it's something you become. When your energy radiates truth, you no longer search for connection, it finds you naturally. You no longer question your worth, because you know what you bring to every space. You embody the very frequency that love was meant to vibrate on, calm, powerful, and pure. This is the moment when you stop waiting for someone to fill you and instead become someone who overflows. Love becomes effortless because you are no longer looking outside for what's already alive within. And from this space, everything shifts. You start seeing love everywhere, in the sunrise, in the laughter of strangers, in the stillness of your own breath. You realize that love isn't rare, it's reflection. The world mirrors your state of being. When you vibrate with fear, you attract chaos. When you vibrate with peace, you attract calm. When you vibrate with truth, you attract souls who carry the same light. That's the secret. You don't chase love. You evolve until it has no choice but to meet you where you are. Because the awakened soul doesn't find love. It becomes the energy that love itself seeks.